Wait, Candle, you were there inside when I rang the bell and called out her name.
Then, on General Hospital.
I don't suppose there's any place for me at all in your scheme of things?
Adam's resignation from the hospital depends on Gina, and Laura and Scotty anticipate their future.
Found an apartment.
General Hospital, after one life to live, beginning 1 hour from now.
Jim, the coroner's inquest is going to start at 1 o'clock, and Cathy's supposed to be the first witness, remember?
I know. I have one surgical patient to look in on for Arthur Jacobs. But then I'll be on my way.
Are you going to be at the inquest?
Of course. I'll be there in a few minutes.
I'll see you there.
Fine. Here's the consult on the Powell case. Jim said he wanted to see it.
All right, I'll give this a call to his attention. Are you all right?
Oh, yeah. I'm not looking forward to that inquest.
I understand Karen's supposed to testify.
That'd be bad enough in itself, but for her to have to furnish an alibi for that character, Marco Dane.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. State your full name and address, please.
Katherine Craig Lord, 118 Woodland Drive, Landview.
I understand you are divorced, Mrs. Lord, and that you have instigated proceedings to have your maiden name restored legally. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Would you prefer to be addressed as Ms. Craig, then?
Yes, I would.
Very well. Now then, Ms. Craig, even though this is an inquest and the cross-examination of witnesses is not allowed, your oath still has the same force as if we were in a court of law, and the penalty for perjury still obtains.
I understand. Well, I'm sure everybody will be glad that this is all over.
Just hope it's over soon, for Jenny's sake.
And for Will. Must be terrible to have your son in a situation like this.
Well, Brad's innocent. He'll be all right.
Yes.
In fact, I would remind all of the prospective witnesses present that this is not a court of law. The jury is here to make a finding of fact as to the cause of the death of Lana McLean and nothing more.
If Vernon knows we are lying, there's only one way he can know.
Now then, Ms. Craig, how long did you know Lana McLean?
About a year and a half.
Under what circumstances did you meet her?
Well, she was a waitress in my husband's restaurant. Mr. Lord and I had an apartment that was over the restaurant, so I got to know everyone that worked there.
It was a passing acquaintance then?
Well, yes, in the beginning. In the last few months of her life, we became quite close. She needed someone to talk to, and we became very good friends.
Why you, Miss Craig? Now, I understand this may be very difficult for you, but I think it's important for the jury to understand the circumstances.
Why does he have to go into all that, Will?
It's okay, Anna. She'll be fine.
I was quite ill for some time. A mental illness. And afterwards, my husband and I separated, and then we were divorced, and I was alone. I think that Lana thought that we were experiencing some of the same circumstances, that we were both at sea. We didn't quite know what direction our life would take us.
I think that explains it pretty well. Thank you very much. Now then, did Miss McLean tell you any of her own background, her childhood, that sort of thing?
Yes, she was originally from New York. Her mother was widowed, and there wasn't much money, so Lana had to go to work when she was still quite young. She didn't have much formal education, but she was a very hard worker, and she was quite independent. In fact, I think she was very proud of the fact that she could stand on her own 2 feet.
All right, everything's all cleared up. I'm on my way to the inquest.
Now, don't worry. Cathy is going to be fine.
Yeah. Just can't help wishing that she hadn't become so deeply involved in Lana McLean's personal life, and she wouldn't be going through all this.
It may be the best thing in the world for her. Get her mind off of herself.
Yeah, that may have been true. If she had really been able to help Lana. The way it is now, I don't know. I just don't know. I'll see you later.
All right, let's move on to some specifics. How would you characterize Miss McLean's drinking habits?
Well, when I first knew her, she hardly drank at all. But then toward the end of her life, I think it's important that you understand that Lana was going through many problems. She was quite emotional and...
Please, Ms. Craig, please leave the interpretations to the jury. Kindly confine yourself to the facts.
Oh, yes, I'm terribly sorry. She drank quite heavily toward the end of her life.
Did she use drugs?
You mean narcotics?
Any kind of drugs?
Well, she had a prescription for sleeping pills. That's all I know about.
I see. Now, you volunteered a statement that she had some problems. I infer she discussed these problems with you?
Yes, she did.
Would you tell us about them, please?
Well, yes, but could I begin with an explanation?
If you feel it's necessary, yes.
Well, you see, despite the fact that Lana had been on her own for quite a while, she was still quite vulnerable. She was very intense about personal relationships. She had a great capacity for loyalty and commitment. She fell in love with a man and was very committed to him and thought there was an involvement, but then she realized that he wasn't returning her love.
Excuse me, are you referring to one instance or a number of instances?
As long as I knew Lana, it was only one man.
And who was that?
Brad Vernon.
But you say that Mr. Vernon did not return her feelings.
Well, in the beginning, he made her feel that he was. And then all of a sudden, he announced his engagement to marry someone else. That's when Lana started drinking so heavily, she was despondent. And then 2 weeks later, she discovered that she was pregnant.
Please note, ladies and gentlemen, that the autopsy report confirms this finding. Miss Craig, did Miss McLean tell you whom she thought was the father of her child?
She knew who it was.
And who was that?
Brad Vernon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time that we have a short break. We will recess for 15 minutes. Will you be back in your seats at the end of that time?
No, we're on a recess. Kathy's still on the stand.
It's wise to be seen standing around talking to a guy like that? Come on. Well, can't cross-examine, but he says not to worry, that he could destroy her as a witness when it comes to a real trial.
Do you think it's going to come to that?
No, I don't. I'm just saying that, Anyway, I think the coroner's jury will just make up their own minds. Cathy said herself
Of course she would be the way she had to testify like that.
Yeah, well, and she should be, too, because everything she said so far is just hearsay. And why do you think she didn't come out here?
I don't know.
Because she doesn't want to face anyone, that's why. Look at her. That's all she can do to hold herself together.
Did you see their faces? Whose? The jury. They didn't believe one word I said.
Kathy, why in heaven's name wouldn't they?
Because when Dr. Stern mentioned my illness and it clicked in their heads, they remembered. They must have seen my name in the papers a million times.
Kathy, that was just your imagination. You were composed, a matter of fact. You were very much in control.
And I didn't feel very much in control. I'm just not looking forward to what's coming up.
I'm sorry I'm so late. How's it going?
All right, we're about halfway through the testimony.
Kathy, it's going to be fine. You just tell the truth as you know it, and everything will be fine, I'm sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to resume the hearing. Return to your seats. Please take your seats.
Well, I guess we can't take these in there, can we?
No, I don't think so. No, there's going to be quite a story here. Terrific story. The only trouble is I already wrote it last week. No, if Joe Reilly let me run it, everything that's happening in there I wrote about.
I thought Joe said you're supposed to lay off the story till after the inquest was over.
Well, that's the trouble.
You want me to have a little talk with Dorian?
No. How come you're always willing to go to bat for me?
Mr. Abbott, you're starting.
Thank you.
Because you're so lovable. Why else? Then Lana went to see Brad to tell her that she was pregnant.
And this was when?
About a week before her death.
She came back to your house afterwards?
Yes, she said she had to be somewhere, that she just couldn't bear to go home alone. She was in shock, Dr. Stern. She told me that Brad told her that he was not the father of her child and he wouldn't accept any responsibility whatsoever.
To your knowledge, Miss Craig, has Miss McLean been seeing any other men during this time?
No. No, she was clinging to the hope that Brad would come back to her. In fact, that day that she saw him, she was hoping that Brad would admit it and accept his responsibility and take her back. But instead, he thought about it for a couple of days and then he sent for her, and when she went over to see him, he gave her a plane ticket to Los Angeles and $1,000 in cash.
How do you know that?
Because she told me, and I saw the plane ticket.
And the money?
No, I didn't see the money.
Did she intend to use the plane ticket?
Well, she thought about it. I mean, she went as far as to call the airline and make a reservation. She did that at my home. But then she decided to stay here.
And she decided to have the baby?
Yes, to have the baby and raise it on her own. We discussed abortion, the pros and cons, but she decided against it, even though Brad was willing to set it up for her.
That is, according to Miss McLean. I presume that you were not present during any of these conversations.
No, Dr. Stern, I wasn't, but I believe that Lana was telling me the truth.
Why?
Because Lana was incapable of lying. If you'd known her, Dr. Stern, you would understand. She was a very brave woman. She was willing to face the world alone. She was willing to bring up a child by herself. You must believe that. You see, the only mistake she made was to keep saying that this child was a product of the love between her and Brad. But of course she did love Brad. She loved Brad right up until the end. She did love him. I'm so terribly sorry. Thank you.
Would you like a few moments to compose yourself, Miss Craig?
Yes, I would, if you don't mind.
Very well. Ladies and gentlemen, we will recess for 5 minutes. Please stand by and be ready to take your seats at the end of that time.
Well, it's just been underway for about a half hour or so. It's,
Kathy holding up all right?
well, she was up until a minute ago.
Oh?
Here, come on, let's get a cup of coffee.
I'm not that lovable.
What?
Who were you talking about before? You're doing me favors.
You think I have an ulterior motive?
I don't know. You tell me.
When we were at college together...
Oh, here we go. Good old English Lit 32.
But I'm trying to say that you didn't understand me then, and you don't understand me now. You think I'm so ambitious, competitive.
And you're not?
Well, no. I mean, I'm also a woman.
Ah, so you're an ambitious, competitive woman.
You don't have an inkling of what I'm trying to say to you, do you?
Yes, I do. Underneath that rough exterior beats a heart of flint.
You think I really like that?
Hey, Edwina, come on. I'm only kidding, huh?
Oh, yeah, but when people kid that way, they're usually half serious.
Well, maybe you are a little intimidating at times.
See, that's my problem. I don't mean to be at all. It's just some kind of defense mechanism. I'm really very shy with people, you know. It's just I cannot manufacture all that girl-type small talk until I come on like the iron butterfly. And with most people, I don't even care what they think, you know, but with you, I wish there was some way I could get you to see me in a better light. I mean, what can I do, Richard? Dad, I don't want any special consideration. I'm all right.
Kathy, let your father speak to Dr. Stern.
I do.
I'll be right back. Dr. Stern. Yes, Dr. Craig, excuse me. My daughter assures me that she's fine. As a matter of fact, she didn't want me to bother you at all. These proceedings don't have to go to the court. The strict legal rules, you know. I understand. What time would you want her here tomorrow? Well, it depends on how far we get this afternoon. I'll let you know. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's get you home.
Don't they want to talk to me anymore?
Until tomorrow, instead.
Well, I wouldn't stay with you.
Kathy, are you sure you want to do that?
That is the least I can do for myself. But you've already done more than enough. What can your being here do to affect what people say on the witness stand?
I think it could do a lot. I mean, if people know that I'm here and that I'm listening, I think one or two people might just tell the truth. I'll sit over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you take your seats, please? We're about to reconvene. Please take your seats. Take your seats. And ladies and gentlemen, there's been a slight change of plan. We would like to call Wolek to the stand, please.
I wish that there were more that I could tell you, Dr. Stern, but you see, Lana and I didn't see that much of each other after I got married.
Any particular reason, Mr. Wolek?
No, she went her way and I went mine. And of course, I didn't work at Tony's place anymore.
That would be the supper club run by Mr. Lord.
That's right.
Now, Mrs. Wolek, you were at the supper club on the night of Margaret McLean's death.
Yes, I was.
Would you care to tell us about that, please?
Well, there's not really very much to tell. But then I've been to see my sister Jenny. Earlier, she was going to get married the next day. And then I just got to thinking about Tony sent her home. And when I found that out, I left.
But you didn't leave alone.
What? Oh, no, it just so happened that Mr. Dane was leaving at the same time that I was.
That would be Marco Dane.
Yes, that's right. And he was walking me to my car in the parking lot, and he started talking about Lana, and he was very upset about her. She had sent him to get her a bottle of scotch from the bar at Tony's.
Yes, well,
There's not much else to say. I got in my car and drove home.
but then Mr. Dane showed up at your house afterwards.
Yes, he did. I was very surprised because I thought that he would go right over to see Lana. But, as I said, he was very upset about her, and he wanted to talk to me some more about her.
Because you were an old friend of hers.
Yes, that's right. But the way he put it was that he felt she was destroying herself. And he thought maybe we could do something to help her. And I thought that one way to really help her was to not take her the bottle of scotch he'd gotten for her at Tony.
And did you convince him?
I guess so, but you could find that out from him.
Mrs. Wolek, to your knowledge, did Mr. Dane have any other interest in Miss McLean other than one of friendly concern?
Well, that's always possible. I mean, Lana was a very attractive woman. But of course, everyone knows that Lana was hopelessly in love with Brad Vernon.
Well, I have no further questions. Thank you very much, Mrs. Wolek, for step down.
Thank you.
We will adjourn until 1 p.m. 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I ask all the witnesses who have been subpoenaed to be on hand at that time. Thank you very much.
She's lying, Dad.
Kathy, why would she be lying?
I don't know, but she is lying. Oh, I don't know what to think. Come on, let's get out of here.
Brad, I'd like to talk to you before you testify. Could we get together?
Well, I've got a lot of stuff I've got to clear up the house upstairs.
Could you meet me there? Fine. I'll be there as soon as possible.
Okay.
I don't know about anybody else, but I need a drink. So, that's enough of me. Jenny, I'm sorry. All right. You had to tell the truth. Brad didn't want anyone to lie for him. No, but I would have done it for you, honey. Well, I don't want that either. Anyway, I'm sure that the coroner's jury is going to find that there was no crime committed. Lana died because of a mixture of alcohol and pills, and it was taken accidentally, and that's that.
I mean, she'd weigh down my resistance or something. I was actually rather grateful for the interruption. I'm afraid that she was very good at role playing. Dad, I'm sorry. I really don't mean to rush you, but if I don't get at this stuff, I am so far behind. Of course. And thank you very much for coming to the inquest. I appreciate that. And, you know, if you've got any other questions, if there's anything else that's bothering you, just...
No, it was just that one incident that kind of stuck in my mind, that's all. Good night.
Okay, good night. Hey, Brad, how you doing? Hey, Doug, how are you? Oh, hey, Doug. Come here a sec, will you? Tell me, you run a private investigation service, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that's one of my enterprises. Why?
Well, I was thinking I'd like to have a potential employee checked up on. I was, wondering, do that sort of thing, look into people's background, how much would that cost?
Well, it depends on how deep or far back you want us to go.
Well, I'd like to know if he is who he says he is, where he comes from, what he does, and police record, if any. How much would that cost me?
Oh, thank you. I think I'll see if Anna needs some help with dinner. Excuse me.
Very nice of you, Karen.
What?
Agreed to stay for dinner.
Why? Why would that be so strange?
Come on. She's shy away from these family things.
Well, maybe I was afraid to be alone with you tonight.
Why?
Because I have the feeling that you're angry about my testimony.
You told the truth. What else could you do?
Larry, it wasn't flexible, I didn't want to find way. But if Marco didn't have anything to do with my...
Afford that, Doug. Look, I'll tell you what, let me think about it, all right, and I'll get back to you, okay?
Fine. I'll hear from you then.
Okay, thanks a lot, Doug. Vernon! Adamant, what the hell do you want?
You know, I know that guy. Guy just left. Named Doug Niem. Yeah, he's a private investigator.
Really? You remember this club that you want?
You know, before you go to a lot of trouble and spend a lot of money having me investigated, I ought to tell you that the game you're trying to play with Karen isn't working. In fact, it backfired.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about.
Because I've been doing a lot of thinking about what must have happened the night Lana died. And it occurred to me that there's only one way that you could know that, in fact, I did go back to her place that night. And that's if you were there inside when I rang the bell and called out her name.